Hello, Internet. I hope you can hear me okay. This is Angela. I am your DM and your producer this evening, so we'll see how this goes. Welcome to Shenanigoons, the Book of Fables, that sorta-fairytale D&D game where you contribute to the chaos, which you can see in place of our dear Tessa this evening. You can see how you can contribute to the chaos. So I will save time and not talk about it today. You guys can just click on the needed things on the side, the little codes, and then you can find out more about what these are.
And if you're curious, you can just like give some money and find out what
Find
happens.
out what it does. Oh, that's true. That's very true. Use the chat command first, though, because we have some things we need to have from you to do that. So,
Yeah.
have fun.
Money.
Anyway, hope you all are doing well this Tuesday evening. How are you doing, players?
Good.
Doing okay.
Doing okay. We left off on a weird place last week. And this week we are coming at you with chapter 16, Gnoll with the Punches, which we have our birthday girl Heather to thank for that one. Thank you. And we're gonna get going with a couple of really brief things to say. First of all, we are members of the Nerdsmith Network, which you might notice by the fact that we are on a Twitch channel called We Are Nerdsmith. I can turn up my volume if required. Let me know if that's any better. Sorry, Mitch. Anyway, we are members of the Nerdsmith Network. You can find out more about us at nerdsmith.org. Or if you like what you see tonight and you have liked what you've seen previously, you can consider becoming our patron. You can find us at patreon.com/nerdsmith. And you can help keep the lights on and get cool bonus content from a bunch of our shows that we've had on the network and from us and all sorts of fun things. So please consider it. We are very grateful for all of your support. Speaking of other support, we are here today thanks to a bunch of really kick-ass sponsors that we have, starting with Eldritch Foundry. Eldritch Foundry is a really amazing digital miniature design website where you can design some really beautiful fantasy characters, including, I love that there's a Furbolg in their like species creator. You can find these sort of wonderful designs, like in our little character icons at Eldritch Foundry, and consider using our code. You let them know that we sent you if you do that, and that is really wonderful. You can get your miniatures printed physically, so you can get little miniatures to play with, or you can get digital downloads of them to use in the maps and such. So hooray. We are also sponsored by World ANVIL. World ANVIL is... Kyle repping the sponsor tonight. World ANVIL is an amazing world-making, campaign management, and world-building software. An incredible community of people with lots and lots of creativity to spare. Like, holy crap. You should join their Discord server as well, because you can find out all the new things that are coming to the website. And you can join World ANVIL for free and get some really incredible features. But if you'd like to get some personalization features and some really high-level stuff that they're coming out with, you can become a guild member. And you can find out more at worldanvil.com and light up the forge. Finally, Tessa. Oh no, she's not here. Okay, so because Tessa's not here, I will take the final sworn duty to sing the praises of our third sponsor, Die Hard Dice. Die Hard Dice is a really amazing company. They are just a genuinely great group of people. They are so supportive of us, and we are incredibly proud of their products, including metal and polymer dice sets and dice accessories like trays. Snappy, snap, snap, snap. They have a lot of really gorgeous trays that are foldable and transportable so that you can take them around. They also have dice towers that are in the same sort of structure, so you can travel around with them really easy. They're beautiful. This is just a really pretty blue. And we would like to talk about this month's featured Die Hard dice set, which is the Mythica Platinum Aquamarine set, of which Tessa has a set, but oh, look at that. I've got at least 2 examples of it. You can find, that's not gonna work really well because it's blue and I have green screen. But it's a very pretty dice. Andy has this set. He specifically got them for his wizard, and they're very, very beautiful. You can find them in much higher quality on the website link that we put in chat. And if you use the code Nerdsmith-FEB, as in Nerdsmith-February, you can get 10% off your purchase of these beautiful Mythica Platinum Aquamarines or your entire purchase. So please use our code and get dice, because the dice are pretty. And I got a new set too. But we're going to talk about game now. I have too many sets of dice in front of me right now, and that has nothing to do with what's going to happen tonight.
You only said that because Tessa's not here.
It's true. I had to be the
Wouldn't
dice.
say that in
I had to be
front
the
of
dice dragon tonight. What really should happen is I should set up my other webcam as a little like dice view, but it's not good enough Zoom to be able to capture the dice quite right. So I'm gonna keep working on it. But I'd love to do something extra. Maybe a puppy cam. But Whiskey doesn't like sitting in the same place. So I don't know if it'll work for me. I'll put a husband cam up. Nope, that's a different thing. Nope, we're not going to do that. Never mind. So anyway, how about we get started with a really, really brief recap? Because last week was so interesting. Last week, the group of y'all went to sleep. You woke up to the sounds of a battle happening somewhere in the city of Chanterelle, the mushroom orc goblin city of Chanterelle. And pretty immediately after that, with just a bit of a word from a certain Her Majesty, you were transported back into the fabled Book of Fables. Where you re-encountered your mentors, the Queens of Fae, the multiple Queens of Fae, and you trained with them. They told you that they pulled you back into this world where time passes, at least from what they can tell, passes a lot faster, so that you can have more time to prepare for what was coming. You specifically, some sort of force from the Lord of Tales, your, I guess, future arch nemesis, the Queen's arch nemesis. Well, it's the Queen's ex-husband, and ex meaning dead, they thought. So, you spent some time training, getting more comfortable with your abilities and finding new abilities. We went through a number of those. You also spent a little time doing some fact-finding. Paru did a little research into the Nakosta and the Baba Yaga. Now that she knew it was not the Gaba Yaga, she could find some information. She found out about the fact that she came from a bloodline of the Baba Yaga, a Fae bloodline, which meant she had different abilities than a goblin should. And it explains why she looks like a goblin but doesn't necessarily act like a goblin. Beza, you did a bunch of extra training with the hunters and made everybody crafty gifts and made everybody want to cry. And you made Sir Tuskendale cry. Like a blubbering elephant, which is literally what he is. Harlan had a clandestine meeting with the presidents and secretaries of his fan clubs, his not warring, but they are competitive, the harlots and the harlequins, and basically asked them to keep their ears to the ground about anything that might come up, about what you've been encountering, these paper creatures, the paper drake and such, and that tree monster thing, all of which you've been finding illustrations inside of you, basically wanted posters etched on these creatures. And Oliette, you got to know or spoke with Her Majesty of the Trade for a bit, who was Verlaine's mentor, trying to find out if there was any trail to follow of what they might have been doing before they seem to have been led astray or started acting out of character. You found, and then you later showed the party, the two caves that seemed to indicate where Verlaine was kind of camping out, staying a little solitary. Her Majesty of the Trade had described them as being a little lonely, a little solitary of a person. And the second of those two caves had some very disconcerting things in them. You found a scratched image on the rock face of this cave. A horrific screaming face. And it seemed to be sort of leaking ink. You came to the conclusion that perhaps this was what you had originally thought was some sort of obsidian dagger that Verlaine had been using for quite a bit of time. And now occurs to you that perhaps it's not obsidian, but some sort of ink dagger. And thinking back to the fact that that Verlaine stabbed a sentient glove, like a gauntlet, and sucked it up into the dagger, then later stabbed a book and ink created a paper drake, you have a suspicion that all of this is connected to the Lord of Tales, who wrote the book of Faebles originally. Now, with all of your skills sharpened, some of your abilities improved, some of you learning new spells, you were sent back into the real world. Brendan Fraser is Verlaine. What? Anyway, oh, gotcha. Okay. Took a second. I hadn't seen it. So, you were sent back to the physical world, to the material plane, just in time to encounter the threat that was looming. It seems, though you were gone for a couple of weeks in the book, it was only a few moments that passed out here. And when you came back, you fled the house with your hostess, Kat, and her entourage of scrappy warriors closed behind you. You found yourselves face to face with an invasion force, a horde of paper goblins that had decided to raid the city of Chanterelle. Not great. You saw carnage and fire as these gnolls made of pages with words running across them, actively sort of rolling across their skin, were just wrecking the city. Now, you watched this, you prepared to make a showing, fight them, and around this horde, you caught a glimpse of a very familiar face. You saw Verlaine, sort of among them, not being attacked, not rushing around, just sort of blank-faced, surveying the fight. If you can call it a fight. Seems pretty one-sided, to be honest. What you can see right now. and he watches, and you see the eye patch he always has. You see them holding a very familiar obsidian dagger down at their side. And there is what seems to be part of this gargoyle gauntlet. But only part of it. Like their fist is coated in the jagged metal claws of this gauntlet. But it almost hasn't finished materializing yet. It almost looks like there's ink veining going up their arm, and the gauntlet hasn't completed yet. But in that hand, you see the dagger. And Verlaine is looking about everything that's happening, and their eyes fall on you all. They're a good ways away. Maybe 100 feet. And Kat and her entourage are getting a little more antsy to get fighting. It's their home after all. And Kat is counting gnolls. You see their swarms of them all over. Chanterelle's a fairly large town, and you're watching as there's just like little packs of them climbing up buildings, crashing into carts in the marketplace, and it's just a riot at this point. You do see, now that you're kind of glancing around, there are townsfolk fighting back. Lots of swarms of goblins kind of crawling on things, biting. You see some shredded paper and ink in little spots where it does seem like Chanterelle's giving up a fight. So it's not just you all fighting, luckily. Kat and Raffida sort of get close together and start planning to leap into the fray. Paru, and this is how we're justifying Tessa not being in the session. Very quickly after all of this happens, Paru needs to check on her family. That is her priority. She wants to get to her family and make sure they're safe. So, getting her things, and you actually, give me a second. Someone give me an animal that's fast.
A cheetah.
Well, duh.
But what
How
that
about-
she can change into?
Yeah,
Like a
that's what I'm
dog?
thinking.
But a
Sure.
wolf?
Let's say she turns into a wolf. That's great. You watch as Paru wild shapes into a wolf and just books it towards the farm.
Probably better defenses than a jackrabbit, that's fair.
Yeah. So she books it, and the three of you are left with Kat and the group. And honestly, Kat doesn't even wait for a call from any of you. She just jumps into the fray. She's got her... I don't remember if it was a hammer or an axe. It was one or the other. She grabs her great weapon. We'll just leave it at that. And that's a lot. There we go. So she jumps in. You watch as she lifts. We're going to say it's an axe, because why not? If it's a hammer, I'm sorry. You watch as Kat just like sprints towards one of these sharp angled, snarling, hunched over hyena creatures, these gnolls, and she just takes a baseball swing at one of them, and it doesn't have much of a time to react as you watch the axe just shred like paper. And there is ink splattering across a wall and across her great axe, and she takes one down in one hit. One hit, 2 hits. Her hitting it hitting the ground. You know how the whole thing goes. You know that's what she's thinking in her head. And you watch as Raffida bolts towards Cat, and Cat sees her and kind of ducks a little, and Raffida just like jumps on her back and gets a little momentum that she can attack with a pair of short swords, and again just kind of wrecks through one of the gnolls. And this is a little pack that they have decided they're going to fight. So you're in the marketplace. There are a number of packs of these gnolls going around. There are packs of like 3 or 4 of them at a time, just kind of spread out, picking off targets, whether it's people or shops or things like that. We're going to try to keep this flowing a little bit. Not going to worry so much about initiative. And just tell me if you know what you want to do, and we'll just we'll know with the punches. Anyway, so what would you like to have as a priority right now in this moment?
How many groups of the gnolls are between us and the lane?
Dozens. There's a horde of these things. It's let's call it a mob of them. I will say, for the purposes of this particular fight, or this particular circumstance, a mob of gnolls might be a single creature that one could fight. Because it seems, as you watched Raffida and Cat and the other two, Tish and Bog, I think are the other two, you watch as they're just ripping into them. Like, the gnolls don't seem to be very sturdy. There are just a lot of them, and they do a lot of damage. They're paper cannons, is what you're getting the sense of. It is a huge swarm that could become very overpowering if you're not careful.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, they still do slashing damage. It sucks. I'm sorry in advance.
Visceral. Stab me. Like, I think as we're surveying this, I'm going to honestly probably grab, I think, Beza.
Okay.
Just not grab. Put my hand on her shoulder with some urgency, and I'm going to lean over, and I'm gonna say, what should I say? I'm gonna say, hold fast, stay strong. This is our fight. You are the hero. You are the knight. And I am going to give her bardic inspiration.
Oh, heck yeah.
So
You are the
10
knight.
minutes, 1d6.
So I have 10 minutes. I'm trying to remember because it's been a while
You
since
can
I've
use it within the next 10 minutes to any saving throw, ability check, or there's one other thing. Attack roll.
Awesome.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
with that in mind,
So, I think that our best course of action is to take a page out of their book and sorry, I couldn't hold it.
ugh, I hate it. But thank you.
And make our way forward. I mean, you cut the head off a snake, right?
All right. So are we going straight for him?
I mean, if we bob and weave a little bit, I wouldn't be opposed.
All right. I guess just stay behind me. And Beza activates the rune on her back. So that
Okay.
she becomes large-sized.
Heck yeah.
I'll flank left if you want to flank right.
Sure.
You you hear Kat shouting behind you as she just kind of swipes and grabs like two of them, like basically takes their heads, and she looks back at you and says, "We have your back. Go." And you all are free to move about the mob.
So I am now large sized instead of small. It's a very big change. And I'm gonna move forward and start attacking.
Awesome. Okay. So go ahead and roll an attack.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll both since I have two weapon fighting.
Yeah.
While she's doing that, I am going to lean over quickly and cast guidance on Harlan.
Cool.
Much appreciated.
Sounds
That's
good.
+1.
Guidance is, I believe it's 1d4.
Nice.
Yeah, you roll a d4 to an ability check.
Beauteous.
Just in cases.
So that's a math. 18 and a 21.
Well, those both hit. So so go ahead and roll your damage, and you watch as Beza, growing to that large size, just through the streets, crushing already crushed market stalls and just planks of wood randomly strewn about, and she just, you attacking with your weapon, and you just watch as this gigantic sword comes out of her arm, and she just cuts a swath through a bunch of these paper gnolls.
Well, and I'm a two weapon fighter, so I'm actually attacking with both.
Yeah.
So for one, hold on, what's the plus? It's 4. So one is 16.
Okay.
And the other one they're both 16.
Cool.
Because I'm large now, I get to add an extra d6 to my damage for each weapon.
Nice. So yeah, she cuts a frickin' swath through these things. You just watch as just a little wave of ink, black splatters, just arcs towards a building as she just like mows a bunch of them down with a couple of swipes. Okay. Who wants to go next? Who has an idea of what they want to do?
Harlan, while just in awe of just the elegance and grace of what just happened, gonna shout toward. How far away is Villain?
Now, probably about, we'll say 90 feet.
Okay. Hey, Villain. I wanna talk at you a minute, if that's all right. Could you call off your friends here? Because your friends want to talk. I'd argue that we're better friends because we've known you for a lot longer.
Valine sort of watches for a long moment, and sort of backs up a little bit as the gnolls continue swarming the market street.
Does it look like Villain recognizes us?
He seems very aware of who you are. There was definitely a look of recognition. There was... Give me an... Throw me... actually, you know what? Never mind. I have your passives. It's way easier for me to just look at your passive information. Your... passive... What's your passive perception?
Insight is a 12.
Insight. Thank you. No. Insight. You're right. Is it 12?
Mm-hmm.
You see recognition. Obviously, this is a rough circumstance. There is a battle happening right now, and he doesn't look happy. But it's hard to read whether or not that is you are the cause of that displeasure, or if it is just generally like battle mode. But at Harlan shouting out towards them, Verlaine kind of furrows their brow a little bit more, and like I said, sort of like pushes back a little bit as more of the gnolls are rushing in, and backs up a little bit more. Basically putting more gnolls between you.
I really just want to talk. I don't want to have to hurt your friends, but I guess we're gonna. So he takes a swig of his flask and a bite of something that he grabbed on the way out the door. So, something from the kitchen, I guess. And will
Some ice cream.
kind of duck to the side of Beza as she's like going to town.
Yeah.
And just spew a cone of flame out of his mouth.
Nice. Oh man, you guys know exactly what that looks like too. Just like, just paper flying and like a freaking bonfire. So yeah, go ahead. Roll your damage.
It's a deck save.
Okay. Let's see how many of these fellas make the deck save. That is... I apologize for that noise. I realize now that was loud, and I have a dice roller that I should have done that with. Dex save is...
13's your target.
17.
Okay. Is it... dex save... half as much damage, so four fire damage.
4 fire damage. So the cone, you have a bunch of these gnolls. They're not really in a straight line. They're just, actually, you know what? It is fucking fire. We're gonna say they're noticeably vulnerable to that. You get any of them within inches of that fire, and they just. An arm will go up in like freaking flash paper, and you don't get a lot of them because they are sort of all sprinting in different directions, but you do manage to get a couple right down the middle, and you watch as they just curdle into black paper and just kind of seep out into puddles as they just are completely consumed by the fire. There's still a bunch of them. Any thoughts, Oliette?
Yeah, I think I'm going to... You said, how far is Blaine? You said 90 feet from
He
us?
ran back, though, so I would say maybe 100 again.
Okay. Okay. There is... I am actually going to, at this moment, I am just going to take to the air.
Okay.
I'm going to stay within close proximity to my friends, but I am going to go probably like 25 feet above.
Sure.
Just to stay kind of hovering above them.
Okay.
And I am going to... I think this takes an action. Technically, it's a bonus action, but what I'm going to do is I am going to try to start racking my brain for anything that might help me in this situation, any story that I've read.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So I am going to roll my story die.
Especially bolstered a bit by the fact that you just spent a couple of weeks with Her Majesty of the Word. Maybe you caught a few new ones.
Okay. All right, that might be helpful.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
right.
But until we get a little closer, I'm just gonna like hold tight.
Okay. Just watching over the events,
Right.
the sort of swarm of you see from your height, from your vantage point, you can see behind you that Kat and Rafida are not doing as tremendous a job hacking and slashing as giant Beza and Harlan did with the fire, but they're holding their own. You're not too worried about them right now. They seem like they are more than capable of handling themselves right now. As you take flight and you're sort of above, hovering, you also see a bunch of the gnolls climbing over a wall and padding down to the ground and making a beeline for Beza, the largest thing in the area. And Beza, a little pack of these gnolls with razor-sharp teeth. Their faces, their eyes are bright white, but the rest of their face is almost obscured as you see all of these handwritten text just sort of like passing over their skin. The back of their hair, instead of like a mohawk, it's just like shredded paper. And they make a leap for you with several claw strikes that they're going to make at you. That is a 19 and a 14.
The 19 hits.
Okay, so they make so a bunch of these things, they kind of claw up near you and hit you for 10 slashing damage. And they're just like clawing and biting at you. But it's all slashing damage because they're paper. Ow. And that's what you feel, Beza. Ow.
Okay.
You also watch as Verlaine hustles up a stairwell on the outside of a building to, again, kind of get a similar height that you have, Oliette. And you watch as he kind of reaches out with the dagger and almost looks like he's gonna throw the dagger out into the crowd, but instead of throwing the dagger, you just watch this spew of black smoke kind of blast from the movement and cover like cloudy the entire ground in front of Harlan and Beza. You two can't see ahead of you more than a few feet, and you'll have it's very blurred vision. You have some trouble seeing. You're going to make attacks at disadvantage for the next turn, or unless somebody does something about the smoke. And there's still swarms of these things. You kind of see them in the smoke, kind of running around. You hear a little screaming. There's clearly a bunch of people still around, but what do you do? Not directly in front of you, bystanders, but, nearby.
Is this the smoke in the air, like, is that it kind of like descended? Is it like touching the ground? And did it look like it was like, I guess, is it like concert smoke machine fog, or is it like the heavy fog that
it is in the air. It is in front of your vision. It is hard to see.
Harlan's gonna try, knowing that Oliette took off and is vertical somewhere. He's going to face away, but still towards the gnolls, and let out another cone of fire.
Okay.
And see what that does to the smoke. See if it.
Oh, okay, sure.
Causes it to dissipate. So it's not an attack. It just happens.
You're just okay.
Yeah.
You blow into the smoke. You hear a little bit of snarling and screeching as just some gnolls get caught in the fire that you're blowing. But you hear a little bit of a sizzle, kind of similar to when you set the ink on fire, but it doesn't seem to dissipate that much. It's still very obscured.
From my vantage point, I recognize that it's probably still going to be obscured, but can I get a sense of movement looking down, like where there might be groups of gnolls, perhaps?
You see a little bit of oh my god. You see a little bit of movement in the cloud. Some little they're pretty big, and there's little compact groups of them. So yeah, you get kind of a sense of some movement.
Okay. I am going to just aim for the lights, and I'm going to cast dancing lights and send 4 orbs into 4 pockets of gnolls to kind of guide my friends through the smoke.
Sure, awesome. Beautiful.
That's all I could think of.
No, that's great.
That's fantastic.
All right.
Never have I ever.
Right. All right.
It's
So
like
what do you?
Smoke to mark the target.
So Beza, what do you do?
I aim at 2 of the target.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and make some attack rolls as you aim for these lights.
We still have disadvantage.
Yes, but the AC will be lower.
Something.
That's the first one is a 17.
That'll hit. With disadvantage, fuck.
I rolled a 16 and an 11.
God, okay.
And I 17 and a 12, so I'm guessing I still hit with the second one too.
Yeah, you do. You hit with both.
Phases.
So yeah, you see the lights and you're like, I can hit that, and you swipe out.
Okay, so one does 9 points of damage.
Okay.
Other one is 16.
Dang. And Olia, you watch as Beza just kind of you see Beza. It's very easy to see the bright white statue person, the big bright white statue person. You watch her throw another few lunges into the smoke near where your lights are, and you see just for a moment little splashes of black against the against over the light that you cast down. It's just kind of like shadowy. You get a sense that she has taken quite a few of them out that way. You're also kind of getting a sense of the area, and you see that you're actually mowing down quite a number of them. There are fewer in the marketplace square here than there were before. You're feeling like you guys are actually doing a pretty good job of clearing them out, with Kat and Rafida also helping in the back. Harlan, do you got anything you want to do now that there are pretty lights in the smoke?
They're electric blue lights, by the way.
Oh yeah, of course.
For some reason Harlan just feels drawn to those lights.
It's just blue team.
Going to.
It's fine.
Yeah, go blue team. Sorry to be a one-trick pony this fight. He's trying to crowd control.
And I mean, the fire's working. I mean, if it ain't broke.
Yeah.
Difference between one trick pony and effective tactic that you keep repeating.
Yeah.
Right,
they rolled a
spam that
15.
All right, let's do it again. Roll 3d6. That would be half of 15 is 7.
Okay. But it's fire, so
Yes.
actually, we're just gonna have them take full damage because
Okay.
they're vulnerable to fire.
Okay.
That works. Oh god, they'd take 1.5 damage if they failed. Or they'd take double damage if they failed. Fuck.
Delightful.
Noted. So you watch, Oliette, you see a cone of flame erupt again, and again you see sort of for a moment the outline of these gnolls as they catch fire, like, and they're just like little gnoll candles for a millisecond before you hear the screeching, and you see little tendrils of smoke emerge from the cloud in a much the similar dark black smoke. Let's see. You all have a few more gnolls, another pack or two come out of the woodwork, and Harlan, they're gonna make a swipe at you. That's a 15 and a 7.
Okay. Yeah, the 15 hits definitely.
Actually, no, that's a 7. And that's a shame. A 7 and a 6. Because they're also rolling at disadvantage because it's still smoky.
Oh, delightful. Yes. Then
So,
no.
so Harlan, you see, you hear them and you go, "Oh, I'm a back up," and you
down now.
see like the claws kind of scraping at you. It's very like zombie, like fast zombie movie. There's just a whole swarm of them like in your face for a second, but they can't quite get a good lock on you. So you are able to kind of dodge out of the way a little bit and avoid them. All right. And Oliet, as you're the only one with any visibility right now, you see Verlaine, and Verlaine is kind of looking around right now and sees a ladder to get up higher on the building, and they hop up over onto this ladder and start climbing.
As they are doing so, did they go around the backside of a building further from me, or did they come closer? Like, how far are they from me?
It was like adjacent. Like, there was a stairwell up the building, and there was a ladder on the wall next to it. So he just sort of hopped up on the railing and then went up the ladder. So about the same distance.
Okay, well, I was going to say, also, if we've been moving forward while attacking, are we closing that distance?
Yeah.
Okay.
He slowed you down a little bit, but you were making a little headway.
Okay. Honestly, oh gosh. Oliet is definitely torn.
Of course.
Because there is still a very, very small part of her that doesn't really want to hurt Verlaine.
Yeah.
But also recognizing that this has to end sooner than later. I think I am going to try to close the distance at the same vertical height and get within 60 feet of them.
Okay. Yeah.
And I am going to cast Cloud of Daggers over the stairwell as they're attempting to climb up it.
Is that just a barrier that they would have to pass through or take damage?
Initially, they take 4d4 slashing damage, and if they start their turn there, they continue to take the same amount of damage.
Okay, so you're aiming to hit them with the first casting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is that just it does it, or is that a save?
There's no save. It just does it.
Okay.
So that's 11 points of
All right.
slashing damage.
Gotcha.
And if they stay in, it's 5 foot. It's a cube, 5 feet on each side. So in a 5 foot space, unless they move out of that space, then if they start their turn there, they take the same amount of damage again.
Okay. So you watch as they're climbing up on the ladder, and you just see all of these sort of spectral blades, kind of just racking them with cuts. You see a little bit of like fabric ripping and little like tiny lines of sort of clearly bleeding from that, and as it hits, you watch them sort of like grab on to the railing for purchase, but then like just kind of throw a hand up and power through, trying to continue climbing up out of this cloud. Okay. Beza or Harlan. I mean, any if anyone has anything they want to do.
Well, I mean, I don't have anything I can do at a distance. So, I guess one question I did have, what kind of stalls are right by our feet right now?
There's a couple of like food stalls right now. There is like a ceramic one, like with bowls and things.
Okay. Does the food one have any alcohol?
Let's find out. just like a produce stand.
And there wouldn't be any cooking oil or anything either. Okay, then she's just gonna keep swiping. But
Okay.
she's gonna keep an eye out for either a flask of alcohol or like a lantern or oil or something
Okay.
that we could use to make Harlan's fire even more effective.
Give me a perception check. Well, so that I can.
If you call out that that's what you're looking for, your friend might actually have an oil flask on their person.
Oh my.
And I'm above you, so I would literally just drop it.
Oh,
Be like,
God.
catch it!
Oh god.
I don't know if she'd think of that though. Is the only thing.
Well, give
That's
me
fair.
That was a 13 for the perception check.
13. All right. So go ahead and make your attack.
We're still at disadvantage.
Yes, it's still. Well, no, the turn has ended, so no, the smoke has dissipated a little bit, so no, regular attack.
The lights have dropped, by the way.
Okay, but we can see them now.
Yeah, you
so-
can see them. There are not
Okay,
nearly
so-
as many as there were. You kind of
So that's a
picking up the scrap.
17 and a 24.
Those both hit. Not a problem.
My attack is a +6.
Yeah, it's good. It's good shit.
Okay, so
It's almost like she was
first
built
one,
for this.
I'm gonna do 12.
Okay.
Second one does 11.
Okay, and you watch as Beza just grabs another. You see a bunch of them sort of like get the vibe that they should get out, and you watch like wide-eyed scrambling more like another little grouping of gnolls as Beza just like charges them and like backslashes them, and you just watch them kind of crumple into just paper crumbles. And for the most part, the market stalls or the market square seems to be empty. You have successfully defeated the mob of paper gnolls in this area. You see Verlaine scrambling up the ladder and reaching out with the dagger, just stabs into the wall. And you watch as ink starts veining out on the wall and climbing over the edge of the wall. And for a moment, Verlaine almost, or that like kind of burst of cloud seems to kind of be emanating off Verlaine, and in this sort of burst of same smoke, he is obscured from your vision, and as it's only a moment, and as the smoke clears, Verlaine is not there. And the veining of the ink has sort of started. It's less like it's veining, it's more like it moved. It's like starting to climb up the roof. And disappear out of view. This veining was almost like little threads that were all like limited size that started climbing out. You hear a bunch of shouting, and another explosion in the near distance. Cat and company are finishing off their group of gnolls, just kind of on one-on-one combat with them. But you have things you can start doing if you want to get a view of what's going on.
Say at this point we're about 60 feet from the bottom of the staircase, all of us together, or are we still further out?
No, you're about 60. That's right. Unless you start moving forward more. You could follow him. You could get to a roof and get a better view of what's going
down
on.
and see what my friends are doing first.
Okay. Yeah. So you hop down. We're not like in strict combat right now. So go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll just touch down between the two of you.
Where did he go?
I'll cast dancing lights up the staircase.
All right.
Did it look okay? How was it?
I mean, I think they recognize us, but I also don't. They don't look right. something's wrong, and something's weird. They stabbed that blade into the wall, and now there's ink, and I can't see them anymore. Something's funny up there.
Do you think they melted into the ink?
I mean, it's not impossible, but I mean, teleportation is a powerful magic. At most, they would have gone a short distance. I highly doubt that. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I doubt they're capable of like leaving without some assistance. My best guess is that they're hidden.
All right.
They always will real sneaky, so it's entirely possible they're just hidden from view.
Say we book it and get to the roof.
All right. Ange, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
The roof is climbing up onto.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like in the same vicinity as Cat's house, like on the other side of that
No,
house?
it's like it's going the other direction. You're
okay.
You left that neighborhood, the oyster district. You left that neighborhood, and you're now in sort of like the downtown space. Like you're not far from the tavern.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't like gonna jump up on top of the building and get knocked into a giant crevasse and die.
No, you are very far away from that side of the town. You are not on that side of town anymore.
Okay. All right, let's get going real quick. I'm not gonna be large for much longer, and then I'm gonna be a lot slower than you.
As Beza starts to take off, I'm going to grab Harlan's hand, and I'm going to put both hands on either side of his face, and I'm going to say, Harlan, you are everything that is sweet and good in this world. So this might not make a lot of sense. But sometimes there are those that hunt in the dark, and they use fear and deceit to get what they want. And unfortunately, as much as it may seem foreign, as much as it may seem wrong, sometimes you have to become the darkness in order to bring light to it. This is a tale of slayers in the dark, so you have to become invisible immediately, Harlan, until the end of your next turn or until you hit something with an attack and you deal additional necrotic damage when you attack something.
Fuck yeah. God, that's awesome.
And then I'm just going to take off after Beza.
Harlan, you feel something shift. You don't necessarily like know. It takes a second, but you like kind of feel a little odd. There's that little ripple of energy of what happens when like a noticeable spell gets cast on you, and you glance down and you don't see your hands, so you know you're invisible.
I don't know what to do with this.
Come.
All right. All right. Yeah, you'll follow along.
Come on. All right. So.
Might have kind of you, but.
All right. So you have just for the record, you have taken back the marketplace. You'll need to take back a few more areas in order to repel the horde. All right, so you climb up onto this rooftop and you see, you don't see Verlaine. You do see that the ink veining has settled on the rooftop and has started climbing a little bit over the other side of the building. It's not running from... Calm down.
I was like, whew,
Calm down.
it's Mighty Morphin time.
That's fine. I mean, we will get back to that. But, so sorry. I really have to filter that one out. That one's really abrupt. So you see this kind of nest of inking veins, it's kind of gross, sort of milling about on the other side of the roof near you. And it looks like there is a tiny aura of sort of smoke going on around it.
Harlan will breathe fire at it.
Okay. As you breathe fire at it, you hear that sizzle, and you watch as some of this inking veining burns in this dragon fire heat that Harlan's producing, I think that might count as an attack. But for a moment, you see just this fire come out of nowhere, and what? Not technically
It
an
doesn't
attack.
say that it's an attack.
You're just blowing fire. Okay, fine. You just see this cone of fire come out of nowhere. I'll take you for it. That's fun. And you do see that a bunch of it is burning off. So you are. It takes maybe 1 or 2 breaths, but it does come off.
Does it slow the ink down? Does it slow the progress or its trajectory down at all?
It seems like he burned a hole through this nest, and it has pretty much incinerated that. You run to the edge of the building and glance down. You see a little bit of veining kind of drifting down a little bit, a few inches past the edge of the roof, but, I mean, Harlan got the vast majority of it. It's up to you if you want to...
In my head, I keep picturing the sludge monster from Fern Gully.
Hey,
How it kind of like
Kyle literally DM'd me pictures of that going, The Lord of Tales? I was like, yes, The Lord of Tales, played by Tim Curry. I wish I could do a Tim Curry impression. I don't think I can, though. So, you hear another explosion, and you see fire. You look out from your vantage point here over a bunch of the downtown area, and you see noticeable fires poking up at a couple of different locations that you can identify. You see a few blocks down the tavern that you were all in. That was the most recent explosion. One would assume that alcohol. You also see in the near distance the front gate of Chanterelle. You actually realize that's probably near the train station. And then there is another grouping over near some of the residential area. There's a few houses that look like they are the site of particularly like sort of violent things happening.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm sure that if we found them once, we'll find them again. I say we go to the houses and we try to help the folks that are there. I know that's what a majesty would want me to do.
Okay. I do want to, if I can manage before we leave the roof, to get within 30 feet of this sludgy ink thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to send Mage Hand through it and see if it makes physical contact with anything or if it just pushes through sludge.
Okay. So you have your Mage Hand sort of appear and float towards the veining, and as it touches, and this is probably maybe an inch in diameter, sort of root veining kind of stuff. It's very War of the Worlds, like 2000, but it's black instead of red. And as you watch, the Mage Hand kind of makes a little bit of an indent in the vein, kind of pushes in a little bit, like a gel, I was trying not to say it, but yeah.
Like evil jello.
Yeah, like a gel.
Can it pick it up? Is it lighter than 10 pounds?
Yeah, it can kind of peel the little bit of veining off the wall. It's kind of holding. It's kind of like a black gummy worm.
All right, I'm just gonna try to keep hold of it as best I can, the Mage Hand, and follow them.
I'm single-handedly trying to get people to stop eating candy. This is what's happening right now. Is it working? What's the next chat? What's the next candy that I need to reference to make people stop eating candy? Is that only in defiance?
I still have the Sludge Guys Fern Gully song stuck in my head now.
Slime beneath me, slime up above. That's the only part I know. I say as I drink my own sludge. So, you're heading for the residential area.
Are they all about the same distance from us?
The tavern's probably closer. The train station is the furthest, and then the residential sort of in between.
I say we skip the tavern.
There were a bunch of fighters there, so if you're not that worried. I mean, it was past curfew, but still, they probably were people there. Okay, so let me get back to the combat music, and you all start heading towards the residential area. There are occasional little swarms of paper gnolls. There are, to some degree, it feels like there's so many. There keep being more. And you do take out a few as you go running. Beza, how long does your size last?
I was going to ask you actually if it's still up or not, because it lasts a minute.
It's by the time you finished and you got on the roof, a minute had passed. So now back to your small size. You are running along with Oliet and Harlan. Oliet, your mage hand's gonna have some trouble keeping up. I guess if you're just running at full speed, you're not dashing or anything. It would be able to keep up. And so you have this evidence, I guess, behind you. And you turn a corner and see a swarm of gnolls clawing up the side of a building. And there is some shouting coming from inside it. There are some open windows that they seem to be climbing towards. And the building is currently on fire. They don't seem to care about the building being on fire. They're just climbing, maybe looking to just do chaos.
Is this the only group of gnolls that we see that looks like it's making kind of a concentrated, intentional movement, as opposed to the other ones just kind of like
swarming, destroying whatever they can find, kind of? Yeah, these seem to be the only ones that are actually focused.
Okay, I will literally like coon, stop, screech, and just like get their attention. And over there, in the window, over there.
Yeah, this is like a 3-story building, and they are climbing up to the 2nd story right now. So, what do you do? No initiative. Just go ahead.
You said the roof of this building is on fire?
Yeah. Just the roof, though.
Okay.
The roof is on fire, and you don't got no water.
No.
You do need it, though.
What are
Sorry.
the light sources in Monterey? Do they have like torch?
They're bioluminescent. There's a lot of mushroom lanterns. It's very quaint.
So, I think Harlan is going to head towards the door.
Okay.
And we'll try it.
Okay.
See if it.
It's open.
It's open?
It's like an apartment building. So it's like the main entrance to the building.
I'll meet
okay.
you in there. I'm gonna go through the window.
That sounds real fine. So Harlan will start running up the stairs, just shouting at the top of his lungs. I need everybody to make their way out of the building in an orderly fashion. No panic or anything due to the fire on the roof or
There's a
the
fire.
strange monsters that are climbing up the exterior windows.
Monsters.
Yeah. Monsters.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check as you try to keep everybody calm. God damn it.
Persuasion. Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Okay.
No, I can't. I really can't. I'm going to use my inspiration to avoid that one.
How did you roll?
Literally.
Causing a mob. He yelled fire in an apartment building. It's what I'm gathering.
Given the way he said that, I'm guessing he rolled a 1.
Oh, I did. I rolled in
It's
that
what
one.
inspiration and
so
rerolls
that's
are for, so...
Yeah. So used inspiration, got an 18.
Okay, so the soothing, dulcet tones of Harlan's voice are able to keep everyone relatively calm. At least at the reveal that there is fire, it has certainly lit a fire under these people. You watch as a number of goblins and some half-orcs sort of rush out of their homes. They're still in like dressing robes and some of them just in casual wear, but they're just they were just at home. And they were, one assumes, huddling in their homes, but Harlan is telling them to get out, so they are starting to shuffle out at quite a quick speed. So Harlan, you start clearing out that floor.
Cool. Oh shoot. Okay. Well, it didn't occur to me to check before I went in, but it occurs to Kyle now. Was there any safe location on the street that he's sending them out into? Are there gnolls out there?
There are, but I mean, like I said before, to Oliette, that the only group that seems to be like really focused on this building are the ones climbing.
All right.
So they could probably rush out.
Cool.
I mean, Beza's still outside too, so she could keep an
I
eye
would
out.
get between them and the people. But for the pile of gnolls, is it like pyramid style, like cheerleader pyramid style that they're climbing
No,
up?
they're like clawing up the building,
So like that.
like Spider-Man. They're Spider-Man climbing up the building. They're like World War Z.
Okay. Like a pile of zombies rapidly trying to climb up the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I
may have an answer.
Well, actually, no, I guess that would work just fine. So, Beza's gonna try to stab one of the gnoll things.
Yeah, they're gnolls. They're paper gnolls.
It's near the bottom
Okay.
of that pile of them, and as central as possible in that group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're not necessarily balancing on each other, but yeah.
That's fine. She's gonna swipe at them. But are they close enough that if like one caught on fire, there's a chance it would spread?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's a 23
Yes.
and a 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whichever one she just double stabbed, or however many she slashes at in the process, take my brain doesn't want to math tonight. 14 plus 8, 22 points of damage, or 12 and 12, like however you're splitting it. Also, I'm going to activate my rune of the fiery shackles.
Yes.
To wrap around the one I just stabbed, or I don't know how many.
No, you attacked. Yeah. I gotcha.
But so they have to make a strength saving throw, or they're restrained and they take damage.
That's an 8.
That's a fail, and they take 2d6 fire damage.
Okay, go ahead and roll damage.
Another 5 fire damage, so I'm guessing 10.
10, yeah. Dang. Man, you just watch as a bunch of these on the bottom sizzle, like, and like a couple of the ones at the top that are sort of clawing their way up sort of stumble down as a little bit of the pile kind of collapses a bit under the destruction of the ones at the base. So you've slowed down the horde a little bit, climbing up the building.
Take that opportunity to try and zoom in the window before they get there.
Yeah, you're good.
So, is there anything discernible? Like, why are they? My first thought is, why are they coming in here? Is what Oliette is thinking.
You're looking around, trying to find anything notable in the room, and the only thing you can really tell is that this is one of the taller buildings.
Am I in somebody's bedroom?
You're in someone's living room.
Are there any people here, or did they?
Are you on the first floor or the second floor?
I'm on the second floor. I went up.
You see, you hear a little bit of a whew, and some furniture falling over, and you see a like a large, pale, half orc woman, sort of hiding out in the room. Looks a little startled.
You should probably get out of here.
You know, with one of those creatures.
No. Look at me. Do I look like I associate with paper gnolls? Come on. The building's on fire. We don't have time for this. Go, go, go.
She books it. Not as kind as Harlan's strategy, but equally effective. No need to even roll intimidation here. She's already very emotionally compromised. Okay. So Harlan, you have cleared out the first floor. Do you start heading up to the second floor?
Yep.
Okay. The gnolls are climbing again. They've sort of started getting more of a leg up. And Oliette, you hear the snarling get a little closer and see a bunch of them, maybe like a few of them, climb, their claws getting over the window and starting to kind of shove themselves inside. What do you do?
Do I slam the window shut? I didn't think of it.
Okay, you can slam the window shut if you want.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
Go ahead and give me a strength check as they're trying to muscle their way in, so you're trying to keep them out.
Oh, mean. Okay. Okay, that's, cruel but fair.
You know, you're trying
Oh,
to
that's an 18.
Hey!
There's no bonus,
So that adrenaline spike as you're panicking, you just kind of like, and let's see how they do. They rolled an 18, which makes it a 23. But you're fighting them off for a good moment or two. And you're kind of like pushing down, and you like trap one of their hands. It goes flat under the window like paper, but the hand is still like fully the right size. They're very cartoonish. And you watch as a couple of their hands, they slide them under the window like flat paper, and and they start pushing up, and they are overpowering your attempt to keep the window closed. So what do you do?
Fail. Run.
Run.
Run away.
Okay, so you run. Are you
I'm
running
gonna follow
down?
this half work.
Okay, so you're heading downstairs. So you are running downstairs, Harlan is running upstairs, and you meet in the middle on the stairwell. There's more snarling. The half-orc woman books it past Harlan. What do you do?
You said it's like an apartment complex. Is it like the kind where the doors are on the inside of the building, or is it like open inside?
It's like a closed apartment building.
Okay. So my goal is just to get out of that apartment where they're coming through.
Mhm.
If I have time to close the door behind me, I'll try, but I also want to start banging on the other doors as well
Okay, if you want.
before I head downstairs.
Yeah, sure.
Guys, I think we're having a stream.
Yeah, we
issue.
are having a stream
no.
issue. I'm doing what I can.
Oh my, we've got a new subscriber.
Thank you for the subscription, though.
Thanks for the sub.
I don't know about anyone else. I just have a black screen. I don't
Yeah,
know
it
if they
went
can
dead.
see or hear us.
Yeah, we have a low. I have a really low stream strength
Gotcha.
right now. Let's see what I
It
can
was
do.
a little robotic for me, but I thought it was my Zoom.
Let me look.
It
That
happens.
adrenaline spike as you're panicking, you just kind of.
For me, I'm just really
delayed.
delayed.
Let's see what I do.
I was really delayed, and now I have nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, and now
Hear
it's
but
just
cannot
that you
see.
can hear us, but
Alright.
you can't see us.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll just power through with just hearing us. I'm okay with that until we get
It is
back.
theater of the mind.
Yeah, there you go. It's not like anyone's missing anything. So, all right. So you are So yeah, Oliette, you're just pounding on the windows. Pretend like we're on a radio show. And you start alerting people that they need to get out. So, all right, Harlan, do you do anything?
There's still people on the 3rd floor, yeah, and the gnolls were climbing up to the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
All right. Has anybody started evacuating the 2nd floor yet?
If people have started hearing all the shouting and are starting to get down. It's just a smattering of people. I think a bunch of people probably fled already.
If there's one that like passes Harlan, I think he's gonna stop him and say, "Just a second. Where is the roof access hatch? How do I get on the roof?"
There's just a stairs. You go. You keep going up.
I can do that. I've done that my whole life.
Okay.
Mom told me to stop, but I just kept.
Can I
getting
go
told.
now?
Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you. And the little goblin hops down and starts sprinting again. I feel
So-
like you just kind of went and picked someone up out of the crowd.
Just you look like you know things.
Mm-hmm. All right. So.
Yeah, and we'll proceed all the way up to the roof if you can. Try to make it as quick as possible up there.
Okay. So, you head to the rooftop, and you see a figure looking down over the city, I guess. Pale hair, black leathers.
Well, hey there, Verlaine. What brings you to these here parts?
I can't. It's really hard to be angry when Harlan's talking. Verlaine spins around and sees you. And kind of backs up a little bit, and there's
Oh, there's no
wall.
need for that.
And you watch him kind of throw the dagger motion again, and there's smoke.
Hey, we just want to talk to you. We're just real happy to see that you're alive and kicking, and you're very active. Oh, all
You
right.
hear Gnolls behind you, getting up to the roof.
All right. While I still have action, we'll start using control flames to start putting out the fire.
Okay.
With the exception of the ones that are closest to where the gnolls are coming up.
Sure. You see that it must some sort of gas tank on the roof. And it has already exploded. So you start controlling flame and pushing the flames towards the gnolls that are starting to make their way up, and you just hear as the flames kind of start eating away at the paper gnolls. That smoke is still sort of obscuring the view of Verlaine.
I'd probably be making my way. Having seen Harlan pass me to go up to the next floor, I probably would be making my way in that direction
Yeah.
eventually. Whenever you decide I get there.
I feel like Baze is probably still on the ground because she doesn't know that you guys have found him, and because there's people that are leaving the building, and the gnolls are right there. Speaking of, technically the fire chains are supposed to be on a single creature, but I know we're kind of counting all of the.
I'm gonna
Some of
say
them
like
off.
a bunch of them are being kept down, but there were a few stragglers that were able to start climbing up. But it's not the whole
Okay.
horde.
That's fine. It keeps doing fire damage at the beginning.
Yeah,
of their
there's just
turn.
this like screeching noise happening constantly at the bottom as they just start like start There's a nice little bonfire going on at the bottom of the. Oh man. So yeah, Aliette, you start heading upstairs. You hit the roof a few moments after. You see Harlan shoving flame from this tank that had exploded towards the edge of the roof, and you see more gnolls sort of sizzling, and you get the suspicion that he's just he's taking care of things right there. But you do see this very telltale cloud of smoke behind Harlan, and he's aiming towards. He's worried about the gnolls and the fire.
They were over there. They didn't seem too excited to see me, and they kind of, did the snarl and the smoke thing. So I'm just, if you want to try.
But it looks from. I just want to clarify.
Mhm.
The lane was kind of backed up into a corner, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
like-
on
okay.
the roof, and put out a bunch of smoke.
Okay.
I got your back.
Okay, I will try to make myself look as gentle as possible. It's not an easy feat. And I'm gonna just one very cautious step at a time approach very slowly, like waiting several beats between steps to make sure to just gauge if they're gonna try and run.
You kind of push through the smoke, and you see Verlaine kind of scraping at the side of the wall in that sort of way that you've seen them do that before. And there's just sort of these black notches being etched anxiously into the wall, and he's just kind of looking around, glancing up, and then you emerge through the smoke, and it starts dissipating already as you kind of come through. And you're maybe 10 feet away from him, maybe 15.
Yeah, I'd probably stop right at 10 feet.
And he starts sort of scraping the wall a little bit, and sort of stops and stares right at you. You shouldn't be here, sunshine.
The music change. Sorry, that took me in for
Didn't mean to do it. I'll go with it.
No, yeah. I'm not gonna leave. I'm not gonna move. I will just say, you don't have to do this.
Okay, you got me.
No, really, you don't have to do this. Whatever it is, we can help you.
Not as much as others. Kind of gets a little... Kind of flinches a little bit. Winces.
I'm gonna cast Detect Thoughts.
Yeah.
So I should, at this point, just get a surface level read. Let's spend my spell slot real quick.
And you hear Verlaine's voice in their head, just kind of... God damn it. Didn't need this distraction right now. Fuck it. Just go away. Just don't... And fucking go the other way. God damn it, Harlan. And just kind of surveying the area.
Let me check and see how long that stays up. Up to a minute. Okay.
Up to a minute. And keep it going.
Yeah, I'll keep it going for now.
Okay.
I'm not probing it deeper. I just want to
Yeah, just
keep
the
hearing
surface.
it. Wow, yeah.
Sure.
Who's making you do this?
Making. Listen, Sunshine, I know you probably want me to monologue a little bit, but I don't really have much time for that, and I got a few more brain cells than you might be giving me credit for.
I think plenty clever. I just really, really would love a reason to not kill you.
Kind of winces again. You really should go. You're gonna
Probably.
get one chance to go.
And then what?
And then you deal with him. You hear in his head, just go.
Okay, then we'll deal with him.
Oh yeah, and you just watch as he kind of twitches a little bit and winces and kind of almost doubles over a little, and kind of stabs really hard at the wall next to him, and that veining kind of grows out of it a little bit, and you watch as some of it starts seeping up Verlaine's hand and up his arm, and you see more of the gauntlet forming. Just a little bit more of it, a few inches up the wrist. And when Verlaine looks back up after this doubled over, their eyes are just black. And you feel a sharpness in the back of your head. I need you to make a charisma save.
Okay. 19?
Nope. And for just the briefest of moments, everything goes double vision, and you are incredibly confused, and you don't know which way you're supposed to be looking. You are sort of shaking your head, trying to orient yourself, and yeah, you are confused right now. Harlan, the smoke has dissipated. You see Oliette sort of grabbing at her head, and Verlaine with black eye. Should have clarified that before. And sort of clutching the dagger into the wall as more veining is growing on the side of the building.
All right. How are the Gnolls looking? Just curious.
Not great. They're very much on fire.
Good. Great. That's exactly what I wanted.
Great. You got what you wanted.
Yay. Thank you. It was so easy. He says famous last words. Now, I don't know what you did to Oliette, but I sure would appreciate it if you stop it. Yeah, you ever heard the story of a raccoon that you know how to trap raccoons? You know how to do that?
He doesn't respond. I mean, what do you want?
So what you do is you take a piece of wood, right, and you get a hollow on the inside of it that's bigger on the bottom than it is on the top, and then you put a couple of like
spikes in it like nails inside, and then you put something shiny down at the bottom of that hole. And now a raccoon loves those shiny things. They just go right for them. Now they stick their hand inside that hole, and then they grab that shiny thing, and they can't get their hand back
Harlan,
out.
make a wisdom save, please.
All right.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
Natural one.
You have rerolls. No, you don't. You don't have rerolls.
No, we don't.
Hey, everybody, if you spend $5, you can give the party rerolls. They don't have any right now. So, Harlan, I need you to give me...
Make a more convincing argument.
No,
Okay.
you need to give me a little information.
Sure.
What is one of Harlan's deepest fears?
How deep?
As
I
deep
got a
as
couple
you wa-
layers.
As deep as you want to go.
Harlan is driven by a desire to help,
Mm-hmm.
to not be a burden on the people that are around him, because of what has always happened around him. And so he is terrified that something will occur with his powers that will drive everyone away, that he will no longer be safe to be around.
Okay. So, Harlan, you watch as you're trying to talk to Verlaine and you meet their eye. And then there's just this aura around your vision, this dark, shadowy aura. And in front of you, you watch as just this chaotic crackling of lightning shoots from you. You're just watching this energy like an explosion. And you just see Oliette fizzle like an atomic blast. And you take
Me too, Marine. Me
you
too.
take 23 psychic damage.
Fucking come again?
23 psychic damage.
Are you still conscious?
Harlan has taken a mind arrow to the knee, and is like psychic damage. Let's flavor it. He is bleeding out of his nose and ears.
Mm-hmm.
Confusion like I don't know who I am, or I'm just physically disoriented.
You're physically disoriented.
As soon as I realize that I'm no longer in control of my senses, I'm going to scream Baze's name at the top of my lungs
Okay.
to try to get her attention.
All right. Beza, you hear Oliette scream. Harlan, you also hear Oliette scream Beza. Nearby, and that vision just flickers, and you see Oliette in front of you after just watching that vision of horror.
So what happens is that the raccoon doesn't want to let go of that shiny little object.
Bless his
Damn it.
heart!
God damn it.
He doesn't know that the thing that's in on his hand is the thing that's
keeping him trapped.
You hear a voice in your head, Harlan, as Verlaine's eyes still trained on you, and you hear this deep, inhuman voice. Shut up.
And you know, it's funny because you know,
Make another wisdom
Coonskin's
save.
real. Okay.
Beza, are you running up the stairs, I assume?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Better that time. That's going to be a 17.
Okay. You feel that cloud in your vision, and you sort of push through it. It still hurts, though. Very much like an old wound you're pushing, like an old bruise you're pushing in your brain. You feel that same thing that you felt just before you saw what you saw.
Now, I don't know who the hell you think you are, but I was talking to my friend. You knock it off. And Harlan is going to cast Chaos Bolt.
Okay.
And try to target the gauntlet.
Okay. So that's a... Yeah, that'll just be a harder DC. That'll be a harder AC than hitting Verlaine.
Where's that button? Well, it was almost... it was okay, so that was 12.
That's not gonna hit. So you launch this chaos bolt towards the dagger and the gauntlet, and you just watch as Verlaine just sort of dodges to the side. And there's this sort of snarl on their face. Looks to you, Oliette.
Am I still confused?
It's fading. And you hear in your head, bookkeeper. And Verlaine starts stepping towards you.
I am going to try to stumble as I'm like shaking off the confusion. I want to stumble in the opposite direction as Harlan. I want to try and get at least 15 feet from him.
Okay.
And I'll wait. I'm just kind of leaving Harlan's vicinity, but letting Verlaine close the distance.
Yeah.
When he gets within 15 feet of me, I'm going to cast Thunderwave.
Okay. He starts inching forward, and you get in that range.
So it's a con saving throw from them.
Okay. That's... Let me double check. That's a 10.
Hot dog. So they fail.
Mm-hmm.
Let me. Okay. So I suppose basically what happens is just this kind of wave of energy on all sides of me lets loose. And there's this enormous boom of thunder, and he takes 10 points of force damage and is knocked 10 feet back.
Okay. 10 points of force damage.
Or thunder damage, technically.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Anything within 15 feet of me is going to be pushed 10 feet away as a nose. So I don't know what else is up here, but
I gotcha.
just want to knock Harlan down. So.
That's fair. All right. So yeah, gets sort of shoved backwards and looks up at you. And just there's this like gritting of their jaw, and it just stares at you for a long moment. And I need you to make a wisdom save.
Are they giving any like visual sign that they're casting anything, or is it no? Okay.
D20. Okay.
It's real fucked up.
I'm gonna use my inspiration because that was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Oh, 17?
17, okay. And you feel this another sharp pain pressure in the back of your head as your vision starts clouding around the edges in this dark shadow, and you just hear in your head again, "Where is that book, little girl?" And you kind of shove back the that cloudy, you sort of blink it back.
I'll just scream Beza's name again.
Beza, you are up on the 3rd floor. You're bounding up and you reach the roof. And you see all of this happening.
Okay. I mean, at this point, especially since Olliet's screaming, it's pretty obvious that things are not going well.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Verlaine positioned as opposed to the edge of the roof?
I mean, got shoved back another 10 feet, so about 5 feet away from the edge. It's about it's like a 4-foot wall around the edge of the roof.
Okay. And we're 3 stories up?
Yup.
How much damage is it for fall damage again?
Oh, I don't know. Hold on. I mean, I assumed this was happening. I really should have prepared.
It's like 1d6 for 10 feet or
1d6 for every 10 feet it falls, maximum of 20d6.
Okay, she can eat that. So
okay, I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
Beza's going to charge at him and try to tackle him. So I'm guessing I have to make some kind of an attack roll.
Go ahead and make a grapple check. So a strength check.
Okay. Strength is, I'm a dex fighter. That's a problem. Maybe I should just slash at him.
Should I just hit him with a sword? I should just hit him with a sword.
Yeah, or I don't know if I would use something else. Okay, because what I'm trying to do, what I want to do is basically run at him, and she's not necessarily trying to like football tackle him. She will if she has to, but she basically wants to like throw all of her weight, which is significantly more than Verlaine weighs, and try to knock him over the edge of the roof.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's still going to be you're still going to try to like, you're trying to check him, basically. Like hockey check him.
Yes.
Also,
it's a bonus action. So as she's running, right before she hits him, she's going to activate her second use of her enlarge rune. So now I also get advantage on strength saves and ability checks.
Yeah, you do. So go ahead.
Those, so I don't know where you want to
No,
that.
you're trying to grapple. You're trying to get control of his movement and push him. I would consider that a grapple, not an attack.
Okay.
Because it's cool.
Right. I don't know what I add to a grapple. Is it athletic?
Do you have proficiency in athletics?
Yes.
Then add your proficiency. So it's an athletics check.
Okay, then it's a 20. A dirty 20 because I rolled an 18.
Sorry. It's just really great when a dirty 20 meets a 1. So anyway, as you're bounding forward, you see as Verlaine, they are staring down Oliet, and you start growing. And Verlaine is just watching Oliet and kind of catches you from the corner of their eye. You know what? They don't even. A nat 1, they're just looking at Oliet the entire time. And Oliet, you're watching, like, I don't want to make fun of what is a very dramatic moment. But at the same time, it really reminds me of that scene in Mean Girls with the bus, okay? It just really does. Just, the Lord of Tales, you're just a less hot version of me.
True.
So Verlaine has the dagger out, and you just see the smoke going, and starts walking towards you again, just as Beza, like, just frickin', it's like a hockey player checking a toddler.
Hot.
Yeah, and Beza, you both plummet off the roof.
She puts him under her.
Great. Okay. And
Things clearly went bad, so at this point, it's like, this is damage control.
no, that's fine. Make another athletics check.
Is it athletics or acrobatics?
It'd be you athletics. You're trying to hold on.
That is a 16.
Just by the skin of their teeth, they wriggle out from under you, and you're both falling. You're both free falling. And as Verlaine,
Are they still within visual, or are they?
they
out
went
of sight?
over the roof. They went over
Just
the
making
edge.
sure.
Yeah. As Verlaine rides out, you watch this sort of smoke. Well, you could sort of. You watch this smoke coalesce around them, and these two wings burst out in smoke, and Verlaine glides to, like, away from you, around a building, or to go around a building. You're plummeting. No.
And I can't hold on to him at all. I don't just.
He
lose the
he
grapple.
wriggled out. He
Okay.
beat you with an acrobatics check. And you're plummeting.
I think. Do I get an opportunity attack because he's moving away from me?
2, 1. Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, she attacks him.
Why not?
Can I use that opportunity attack to try to grab him again?
No.
That's fine. Trying to think what she would. Okay, I have a hand axe.
Okay.
I didn't have my blades out when I ran up, so can I grab one of the hand axes off my hip and try to?
Yeah, this is
attack
all
his-
happening very much like in that blink of a. Because this is only a 3-story building. Go ahead.
That's fine. Okay. It's not a nat 20, but it's pretty damn high. That's gonna be a. No, I'll just use my sword. It's easier. It'd be easier for her to get that out. So that's a 24 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. She is aiming for the arm that has the gauntlet.
It still hits. Okay. It's pretty high.
So that is 12 points of damage aimed at the arm. I don't know if how you wanna
I
do
mean, the wings burst out, you slash out with the sword and strike at the gauntlet, and there is this, like, angry sort of. If a spark could be a void of darkness, that's kind of what sparks out. And Verlaine sort of, like, spins out, still has the wings, and hits the wall of the building opposite you, and there's just kind of a very much like rubble cloud. And we're gonna say it takes half the falling damage. Yeah, that is very good, Kyle. Yeah, as the rubble hits and he starts falling, you see this splatter of ink on the wall in the impact crater on the side of the building. It's very good. And
Guessing I can't use an acrobatics roll to try to not take as much damage.
what are you, a monk? No. So you're gonna take the full on damage. So you did unfortunately max out that damage.
Okay, so that's what, 18?
No. When you fall, you take, what is it? It's
1d6 for every 10 feet.
1d6 for every 10 feet with a maximum of 20. And I looked up how tall a 3-story building was, and it said 30 to 40 feet. So you're gonna max out the thing. I rolled 20d6. Beza, you hit the ground and take 70 bludgeoning damage.
Wait. It's 10d6.
Oh, it's per 10? It's per 10.
Per 10, yeah, so it should
Okay.
be 4d6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
You're
wait a
right.
minute, wait a
No,
minute, wait a minute.
you're
I was
right.
like,
You guys are
holy
right.
shit.
You guys are right.
Oh
You
my
take
God.
15 bludgeoning damage. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. It's not meant to be that bad of a fight.
Jesus,
It's fine. Everything's okay. Everything's okay, everybody.
As a note, as
We're
We're
I saw him go
all
over,
we're all
I would
newbies
have like
here.
at least run to the edge to try to clock what's happening.
Sure. You see Villain hit the building nearby. Ooh. And as they hit the ground too, they kind of stumble a bit, and sort of slow. Sorry, mouse. Sort of slowly stumble to their feet, holding on to the gauntlet. You can't see very close detail right now, but you do see, looking up, Villain's eyes, not the black.
I am going to jump off the edge of the roof.
Oh, that's right, because you have wings. That's not the stupid thing to do.
Well, I'm gonna wait a split second, and then I'm gonna Misty Step to stand right in front of Elaine.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna say, just rest, and I'm gonna cast sleep.
Okay.
So I
What?
have to roll.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Bye,
Oh my god.
Misty Step. There's that. Okay, first of all, there's that.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And it is.
You have to
Alright.
roll HP.
Yeah, so it's 5d8. $27.
There's just a moment. You were so close. You were so close. There was this moment of sort of pause, and you kind of see that little glaze that happens when you command. And then his eyes just go black. The eye goes black. Where's that book? You hear not Villain's voice come out of Villain's mouth. And he reaches for you. Rolled a 18 to try to grapple you.
Please roll high.
Just gonna do that.
Yeah. Just roll high. Just roll high.
Do that. is gonna do that. Yeah, I'm grabbed.
Okay. So the gauntlet gets around your neck and Villain shoves you against the wall. And you just sort of feel the like metal scraping against your neck as he's just holding you there. And this black void of an eye just staring. And he starts, where's the book? Is it in your bag?
It would be in my pack, in my, like, shoulder bag or whatever you call it.
So it's like a messenger bag kind of thing? It's like draped on your side?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, with the book not obvious, that's really the only place to go. And so the other hand that's not with a gauntlet starts really just stop looking at chat. Starts looking through your bag, like sort of shoves its hand into your bag and starts looking through it as just holding your throat against the wall.
The raccoon could very easily get out of the trap.
So are you still on the roof, Harlan? Are you just shouting
so,
across the alley?
Yeah, so just like looking down over the edge, just kind of like.
Beza's still alive, just for the record, so she's definitely getting up and coming over.
I was gonna ask, do I have time to do anything, or is this part of the attack?
You have time. You have time.
I'm gonna try Thunderwave again.
Okay.
Because that's the only thing I have that will do anything for me, so I'm gonna do it again.
We had the cruddy connection again. Hold on. Con save. Fucking fuck, man. That's a 4.
Hey, that Faebles.
Yeah, I think a 4 would fail that. Yeah.
So 9 points of thunder damage.
9
and
points
it's pushed
of
10 feet away
thunder
from me.
Okay. And you said 10 feet? That is not how far the alley is. Back into the wall again. Just a concussive hit to the back. That's another... It's going to be another bit of bludgeoning damage. And Villain hits the wall and kind of falls to a knee and sort of wind knocked out of them a bit and glances up at you with the black eye, this kind of hateful, angry look. Your mistress will burn for her transgression.
Well, gut reaction is I'm going to get the fuck off the ground, so I'm going to just whoop into the sky.
Yeah, sure.
He's not holding the book, right? He didn't find it in her bag.
No, she thunder waved before she pushed him back before he found it.
I can get is 30 feet, so I can't get any further than that.
That's fine. That's fine. Harlan, you're still shouting the story about the raccoon. I'll be honest, my brain glazed over. I have heard none of that story. I'm doing calculus and you're playing checkers and it's just not working in my brain. I'm not hearing it.
I'm not even playing. I'm just spelling the letter M.
Fucking hell. Okay. Does anybody do anything as he's staring up?
Beza first.
Well, I think she probably would have started running toward him,
Mm-hmm.
at least initially when he had Oliet up against the wall. But now that he's on his own, he's still big.
Yeah, you are.
So she's gonna attack, and she's trying to aim her attacks as much as possible at the arm with the gauntlet.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
My brain thought that your big form was like a wild shape, and I was like, oh, well, she'll hit the ground and she'll be normal size. That's not how that works.
Okay. Oh
no.
no! I just occurred to me earlier. I think I should have rolled with advantage to get him, or did I? I don't remember. Whatever. 19 and 18.
Okay. I'm sorry. Every time you start talking about the raccoon story, Mouse's stream freezes. The gremlins don't want to hear about the raccoon. Okay. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
Those both hit.
Okay. And then I'm gonna action surge.
Okay.
And attack again.
Question: are these lethal blows? I mean,
Well,
it's a
she's
blade.
aiming-
It's a blade, but sure. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I understand. You're aiming for the gauntlet.
She's
That
technical-
we'll say that mitigates it a little bit.
Yeah, she's
As
not
you're-
aiming to cut his head off or anything. She's purposely aiming at something that he could technically live without. Okay. With action surge, you only get one extra attack, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's a 17.
Okay. Wow. What the math? So Beza, you charge at Villain and start swinging and just aiming very particularly at their gauntlet, and you watch as sort of like there's a bit of an attempt, but you're massive. There's an attempt to kind of dodge and maybe even block with the gauntlet as you just keep striking, and that flicker of void. Yeah, I think we might be pause because I'm at like 0. This is I will wait to confirm. Yeah, when we get back, this feels important to do. Oh, come on, internet. Yeah, because I have garbage internet. Another reason to donate to the stream.
Please
actually-
get us better internet.
There's nothing. Money can't fix infrastructure. So I'm so sorry that this happens right at what I would consider a pinnacle moment in this fight. Come on. I mean, part of the problem is streaming and Zoom and OBS.
Yeah.
For now, let me, oh, well, that has nothing to do, I was going to say my computer has nothing to do with that. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can fix things. Please stand by. It's kind of flickering. Hold on. Settings. Stream. See if we can do okay. Let's see if I can fix this a little bit. I lowered our video streaming quality. See if that helps a little bit. Okay, yeah, okay, so that helped a little bit. Sorry if we're going to be a little lower res, but it feels important. So, Anyway, Beza, you start slashing, and Verlaine is dodging, and at one point tries to counter or parry with the gauntlet, and you just bring down with so much force that little flicker of a void just flashes out. And there is just a angry look on Verlaine's face. And then the eye sort of fades back into Verlaine's, which I forgot what his eye color is. I think it's gray, I think was the eye color. And their face just goes slack. And they hit the ground. Still.
She doesn't keep attacking.
Okay.
For the record. Although she's probably tempted to cut off the gauntlet, but at the same time, she doesn't want to kill him if she can help it. So.
Sure. Unless you have a tourniquet prepared, maybe avoid lopping the arm off, but that's up to you. I won't railroad you. You hear more echoes in the distance, that cacophonous anger and rage of battle going on in the distance. There's still gnolls. There's still attacks happening. But Verlaine is unconscious in front of you.
I don't know what to do after this part. This is the part where my job ends.
I don't know what to do after this part.
I may be able to help some. I've got some small skill in, applying band-aids and pulling out splinters. One moment. And so Harlan will, sit up on top of the wall and just drop off and cast Featherfall so that he doesn't hit the counter.
Okay, there you go. All right. So you slowly start falling.
Moves.
We got to get that gauntlet off of him.
I mean, we don't know if that's the only thing that's causing the problem, but it definitely isn't helping. She kind of lifts up one of her swords. They're probably still out.
Mm-hmm.
I could cut it off, but that seems like maybe not the best idea when he's this injured, unless we're gonna,
He's definitely bleeding from a lot of places.
I think I might have an idea. What does the ground look like, as far as what's the composition?
The ground is really rough ceramic, cobblestone, kind of in weird shapes, a little off. It's probably
all right.
Dirt between the bricks.
Testing out mold earth, he's going to kind of try to raise the level of the street about 6 inches or so.
You start hearing the brick sort of, and yeah, you're able to do that.
Cool. And we'll form a hole.
Okay.
In the street.
At least we're not on a beach. Go ahead.
And all right, now he's gonna be all loosey goosey. So if we could, just kind of, Baze, if you want to use the tip of your sword and we'll just direct it right towards that hole there, we'll just get his hand right on inside. Just slide it on in there.
Oh my god.
Just
don't know what's
slide
happening.
it on in.
Oh my god, you're gonna do the fucking raccoon trap.
Nope. Go ahead. What do you do, Beza?
All right. All right. Is this gonna help us get the gauntlet off of him? And she starts doing what you told her to do.
Most assuredly, it gets gauntlets off of most raccoons that happens to.
I didn't hear any of the story about the raccoon, so I don't know what's happening. My brain just Canceled.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
All right.
Also, Beza kicks the black blade away from him,
Okay.
if possible.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and once his gauntleted hand is in the hole, Harlan is going to use mold earth to compress it around the gauntlet. Basically, try to basically put as much pressure on the gauntlet as he can,
Okay.
while still not crushing the can, as it were. That'd be,
Sure. Mhm.
too much.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Oliet, if you care to pull on their shoulders, we'll just see if he'll slip on out of there.
Oliet honestly has not come back down and is probably shaking and only just starting to feel the tears streaming down her face. Like, all I can think about is that gauntlet around my throat and not seeing Blaine's face. Like, that's not Blaine, and just in shock.
But Daisy, you might need to help out
Yeah.
here.
All right, and I'm still big,
Mhm.
unless it's, I think, because that was really fun.
I mean, yeah, you're pushing it, but sure.
Probably
It's fun.
the end.
Sure.
Okay, so she
Rule of cool.
it's a strength check, I'm assuming, or athletics or something, to pull on him and try to.
You start pulling. Don't worry about it. You start pulling,
She starts pulling.
and you're pulling them, and nothing's budging. Beza, as you're pulling pretty tight, you look back down at the hole where his hand is trapped, and you see the ink veining, and you see the edges of the gauntlet, and it's like it is on them. It's not, they're not wearing a gauntlet. It is molded to them. It's growing into them.
Holland, I don't think we're going to be able to get it off of him this way. Look at where the gauntlets meet in his arm. That's not how armor's supposed to fit. It's not just something he's wearing on top of his skin. It's like it's merging into his skin.
All right. That is unanticipated.
Problematic.
Yeah.
MacGuffin-esque, if you will.
What?
You think I was gonna make this easy?
No.
Well, what if we get some butter?
some fey butter.
Holland, have you ever seen... You know what happens when you've got, like, someone that has a burn injury and, like, the
Sure.
clothing melts to them? Sorry.
Heather the medical technician coming out. Content warning for Heather sharing about her copious medical experience.
Content warning, burn wounds. Do you know what? Have you ever seen that? Ever?
I mean,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, you did just burn all those gnolls. That was a pretty big injury.
It's like the gauntlets melted onto him. I don't think we're gonna be able to just pull it off.
yeah, you don't want to put butter on that.
Well,
A lot of
no.
people think it's right, but you don't do that.
Various reasons. But
Don't wear butter, kids.
so I don't know what we're gonna do. She kind of looks up at Oliet in the sky and over at you. I really don't like this option, but I do have my swords and my axe. If we can't think of another way to get it off of them, the only problem is I don't know if that's gonna fix the problem.
I mean, it might, if it's part of him now, it might be like a lizard. You know, just shed it and then regrow it.
Possible.
Oh God! Thank you for
Yeah,
the
I know.
image.
It's not a fun
Thank you
mental
for that.
but I know what you're talking about.
I imagine I just like pictured it as just like a clean like, just like
Yeah,
that's it, and then it's just
It's
great.
like in those anime
Bloodless,
memes
you know?
where the,
Yeah.
the creature can regenerate
He's
itself.
Gumby.
It loses a limb and the arm grows back.
Yes.
He's made of clay. This is a claymation D&D show.
Oh god.
So,
So what do you guys want me to do? I can do it, but this is not something I'm just gonna like. Trying to attack him and get it off of him during the fight was sort of desperation, so he didn't kill anybody. Now that he's, unconscious, I'm a little less worried about that for now. But we probably should move quickly because I don't know how fast he's gonna wake up.
Well, I mean, couldn't we just like throw him in jail? You know, just keep the dagger so that way he doesn't have that. But can't we just throw them where they can't hurt nobody anymore? You're like,
The only problem is we don't know how strong he's gonna be or how strong he already. I mean, well, we kind of know how strong he already is since we just fought him, but we don't know what's gonna happen if he's in a prison.
oh, then maybe he just gets rid of a few modrons. It's two birds, one stone. Hand them over to the modrons, and then that's us. That's all. He's our ace in the hole. The secret weapon, as it were, until we can figure out how to get it off of them.
Oliette, how you doing?
Cut it off.
All right. Well, at least we got an answer.
I got my belt. I guess we're doing this. This is
Ugh, I don't like it, but I don't know what else to do either.
Did you want to watch it? Did you want to not watch? It's not gonna be pretty.
Just do it.
All right. Harlan takes his belt off, and before he got a whipping, it's just like a zip tie.
great. Thanks for making
Yeah.
this weird.
I mean, just that's the image that pops into his head. It's just like he got in trouble, he got a whooping. So yeah, and he'll tie the belt around their arm. It's probably mid bicep.
Yeah. Man, just not doing well on the right hand side of their body.
No. All right.
And if this is a problem for anybody, we can
Yeah.
veil
we're gonna,
it.
Yeah, gloss over it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to describe this in
Yeah.
vivid detail.
I just threw the trigger warning in there just in case.
No, thank you. Thank you for doing that. That is very important. In case you're not seeing the chat, trigger warning for limb loss as this is happening. Okay, so Beza.
All right. Here goes. And she braces herself, gets into the strongest stance she can for a downward strike,
Mhm.
and goes
And-
for it.
And you take it. And you take the swing, and Harlan, you had the tourniquet. There's just this sort of finality to the strike. You all, except for Beza, you kind of flinch at how little noise there is. Yeah, you've got yourself two parts of Elaine. Do you do anything besides the tourniquet, Harlan? Do you do any I don't think you have any healing.
I have medicine, but that's it.
Well, okay, so you at least know how to sort of staunch it.
Yep.
And there is a, you'd think that'd wake someone up, but very likely what happened was there was a moment of consciousness and then a return to unconsciousness. Just sort of, you don't sense, Beza, any indication of Verlaine waking up during this. Harlan, he's just sort of slouched against you, and you kind of lay him on the ground, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
We'll start. I'm gonna do what comes to mind. Since we saw it crawling around inside the archives, I figured that if it's not attached to anybody, that it's not gonna be harmful. And so he starts to mold earth, and just like keeps going until the range of the spell.
Okay.
And just making sure that it's at the bottom of it, and then just closing it back up.
So are you just making a hill, basically, with the gauntlet completely encased? Oh, you made a hole. So you're just,
made a hole.
You're just filling the hole, or like what's the end result of you doing that?
I want it to leave no trace that there was a hole there, or there is a gauntlet at the bottom of that hole.
Oh, okay. So yeah. And it takes a little while. The bricks are a little disheveled. You do have to kind of, a bunch of them have been shifted at this point. So it just looks like there's a bunch of dirt, and then there's like piles of, like, there's sort of disheveled bricks that used to be neatly cobblestoned. But other than that, it just looks like someone kicked up all the bricks, which, to be honest, it's hard to think anything but battle, you know, kind of blends in with all the other rubble.
Beza doesn't really have any healing abilities, so while they're doing that, she wants to go over and try her best to break the blade with various things. She's gonna try, like,
okay, you just have it on the ground. You're just gonna try to.
She's gonna try with different things to see if anything will break it.
Like what? What kind of stuff do you do?
I don't know, whatever's around.
So bricks.
She tries to put in fire. She tries bricks. She tries
do you
rock.
touch it when you're doing any of this?
Hell no.
So what are you doing? Just like sort of like croqueting it into fire with your sword? Okay.
No, her swords are part of her. She is not touching it with her sword.
Well, one of her swords is part of her. Is the other one also? Both of them are?
Yeah, both of them are.
So yeah, you take your hand axe and you go.
Hand axe and like
you just flip it like a fucking
it like tongs and flipping it into
like
the fire.
An evil pancake. You flip it into the fire with your hand axe.
Not touching that.
That's fine. I will get back to whatever the results of that effort are, Beza. Oliette, do you do anything? Are you still on the air, or did you hit the ground?
Watching Harlan bury this gauntlet, so to speak, starting to kind of come out of whatever this like temporary trauma-induced haze
completely justified trauma-induced haze, I would think.
And I will just kind of gently bring myself back down to the earth. And just, I'm trying to keep an eye on both Beza and Harlan. So sort of in between the two, just in a daze, kind of just looking between them both. I'm not really even sure what I need to do right now. Nothing, I don't know.
In the sort of back of your awareness, in this kind of foggy space, you still hear the distant shouting and growls of paper gnolls running around.
We need to get off. We need to get off the street. We gotta get out of
here. Noted. Where do we take them?
Verlaine's just I mean, Harlan, are you just holding on to him, or is he on the ground?
Yeah. After burying the gauntlet, he'll make sure that they're propped up at the very least against the wall. Like,
okay.
Make it, like, doing medicine, like basically like trying to make sure that things are still like The
You're
blood
keeping
is
as much
stopping.
blood in them as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No decompression, please.
Okay. So yeah. So you just Verlaine is just the palest you have ever seen them, which is saying something, and just sort of sunken faced and unconscious.
How's that?
Go ahead.
How's that dagger coming?
Beza, you're like chucking bricks at it. And there's this like sort of
Glass bottle.
Yeah, right. There is a point, Beza, when you throw it in the fire, you do hear a little sizzle, but that's the only noise you hear. Eventually you kind of knock it out of the fire, and that sizzling sort of, it's kind of that boiling that happened with the ink, but it kind of peters off, and the dagger looks untouched. You try to throw bricks and hit it with heavy implements, and for the most part that doesn't do anything. You find a big piece of concrete that you just kind of, it like you find something that is like the heaviest thing you can pick up. And you just like slowly lift it over your head and just drop it on top, and you hear this kind of as it hits underneath the concrete, and you lift it, and there is ink in a big splatter on the ground underneath where you smashed, and in like only a few seconds you see smoke start to rise from the ink, and the dagger reform from this puddle.
I think I'm going to, trying so hard to steady my hands, I'm going to pull the book out of the bag.
Okay.
And write. I don't know what to say. I think I will just say, we found them. We need to come home right now.
So you write that in the book. And you wait. You wait and watch the page, just kind of like you're waiting for a text message. Just kind of like staring.
Do not leave me on red, please.
Staring at the page, and it takes a minute or two for you to get something back. And you see in her hand we cannot risk them coming into the book if they are still compromised.
Going to... Kind of hard to explain this briefly, but I am going to say, in as succinctly as possible, that we heard the Lord of Tales. We've removed his instrument from Verlaine's person, and we don't know how to destroy it by ourselves.
Takes another minute or so to get a response back. We have conferred. Find the archive. The original. Where this book belongs. may find help there.
Do I have any frame of reference of what she's talking about in the time I
She
spent with her?
has never mentioned. I mean, the discussion has been had. It's a book. Where'd the book come from? You've heard a little bit. You remember the story of the Lord of Tales and how he originally came from some great archive.
Okay.
You see another message. Your best chance to find the archive would be to seek an audience with the Queens of Fae.
Um, I don't think I have the bandwidth to keep asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
and I truly believe in this moment, Aliette feels a little rejected, a little abandoned.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I will just close the book, put it away. We have to find an archive.
Like where we got it from, or where we got
I don't.
that shit book about money and stuff.
I don't think that's it.
So, is an archive like a really fancy library?
Sort of. There's only one person that I can think of in this moment that.
Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to, but that worked out well.
I will. Just utterly defeated. I think we need to go see my uncle.
Well, hot damn.
All right.
Oh my
Do we
god.
have anything? Do we have any empty containers? Do you have anything on you?
Hold on. Base is gonna go into the building we just cleared out and look for like some kind of
Yeah, whatever.
jar.
Whatever you want. Whatever normal household object you
Cookie
can.
jar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a cookie jar. It's shaped like a mushroom. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she wraps
Because
it.
nothing is greater than indignity.
Why not? She after she puts the dagger into it,
Mhm.
she wraps it in like layer after layer of soft squishy stuff.
You have to protect cookie jars when you travel with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And then puts it in a backpack, which she also probably takes from the house, and she feels bad, but it is what it is.
That person has more problems than a missing backpack and a cookie jar. Unless it's an heirloom and then you've ruined their life. No, it's fine.
Oh my god, it was part of
You
the
know what?
collection.
No. It whatever the goblin equivalent of mass manufactured is, like every Beza, you saw this cookie jar in like 5 other houses.
Oh.
It's like a Kit Kat clock. It's like it's kitschy, but a lot of people had one. You're fine. You're fine. So, dagger in a cookie jar. Gauntlet and arm in the ground. And an unconscious, one-eyed, one-armed person. Do you do anything else to address the sounds of combat? Or do you head back to a home base? Do you leave immediately? What do you do? I mean,
I still got some pep in my step. I can take out a few more of them. He says, bleeding from his nose and ears.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I'm good.
Basa's
Come on.
okay, but she definitely looks a little rougher than you guys have probably seen her before. She has like cracks showing.
Yeah. Little hairline in spots, maybe some like a little hairline bite mark.
Well, I'll be able to help with that, and he's gonna try to cast mending.
We never came down on this.
No, we did.
Yeah.
No.
Here's what I think. I
Uh-huh.
think it would be like the
How about this?
auto stabilize.
No, I've got it.
like liquid bandage.
It will physically fix some of the cracking. Does not necessarily heal any of Basa's hit points. There is more to HP than just your physical health, and Basa is still very weary from the fight, and that is still a calculation of her hit points. So you're able to clean up the cracking, but Basa's still sort of out of sorts and slower and yeah. Hey, we figured out a thing about the Goa. Go us.
Oh man,
Go us.
what do we do with them? Just gesture towards the lane.
Just knocked unconscious on the building.
I'll do the what do they call it?
The alley-oop.
the fire bugbear carry.
Oh god. Okay.
Basa checks the lane for weapons and takes every single weapon off of the lane.
You find their switchblade in their boot. You find, for some reason, a ninja star, which you suspect is more just so that they can say they had a ninja star. You find some darts that seem loaded.
Yeah.
You find another knife in their other boot. This is comical, how many knives you find on the lane.
Like the Joker in the Dark Knight, just
Honestly,
loaded with them.
Only if there's some part of you that's like, they were waiting for a moment to be like, oh, I'm sorry, let me disarm. Except, oops, sorry, too soon.
Womp womp. Too
I
soon.
didn't mean to burn them. Oh, they were still unconscious. Oh, I feel terrible about that.
sure you do.
I
Yeah,
do, actually. It's
She's
really
like,
bad.
doesn't even flinch as she's like, yeah, that makes sense, and keeps pulling weapons
Yeah,
off.
eventually, you have a small little arsenal of blades and such.
She wraps it up in a thick fur so that it doesn't
Shaped like a credit card. What the fuck?
poke out, and shoves it into the backpack along with the cookie jar.
Okay,
To keep the switchblade.
you keep it.
That's fine. She's not gonna argue. She just doesn't want them on the lane.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
that's fine.
She also checks his hair and under his eye patch just in case.
Oh, fucking hell. I mean, I have razor blades hidden in my hair, just all up in there. No, no, you don't find anything in his hair. You do lift the eye patch and okay. I have a question, Heather. Was this to confirm the missing eye or thinking that he had something hidden in his eye patch?
No, she's checking like the straps of the eye patch and stuff to make sure.
Oh, okay.
She's checking it with wires and shit. So
There's a
can't.
smoke bomb.
No, yeah, it's not necessarily a weapon. She's just checking him to make sure.
Okay, you're looking for anything that would have like stitching. You check the inner lining of his jacket.
Yeah. I mean,
you're
watched him train with the hunters who
Yeah.
were more roguey in terms of their fighting. So she's like,
Yeah.
I'm checking every fucking thing and leaving him with no weapon.
every pocket, of which there are many. So yeah, you find a couple of things while you're looking for weapons. You find a little money, some walk around money. You find another switchblade, but it's actually a comb. You find a mushroom that you would recognize as being one of the mushrooms growing on the mushrooms. And you find a big book tucked into the jacket, kind of a sketchbook. It's about this big. Lots of loose paper. And has some charcoal strapped to it. That's pretty much all you find. A little food, like basic sundries here and there, but not that much. He's got a lot of pockets, but doesn't have a bag or anything on him.
That's fine. She's just being paranoid because after what just happened and what could happen. She doesn't want to risk it.
The DM thinks Baze is being completely reasonable.
Yeah. She also takes the sketchbook because she saw what he could do with the paper and the books and stuff. So just in case, not leaving him that either.
Absolutely.
We have to get Haru, and I think we need to leave.
I don't disagree with you, but we should probably try to take out as many of these paper Gnoll things on our way as we're going. I mean, the three of us took them out really easy, and so did Kat and her friends, but I mean, the average person here doesn't know how to do any of the fighting stuff. That, they harvest mushrooms.
As you watch a troll bound past you with a paper Gnoll in its grip, just you'd think they might be able to handle
All right, so maybe some of them are better off than others.
God, what is that term called? It's like that comedic term when you're like, nothing could go wrong, and then the thunder goes off.
Lampshading?
Isn't it Chanterelle, where alcohol is poison?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You have the switchblade. Alright, so you... Unless you do anything different, Harlan picks up Verlaine, slouches them over his shoulder. And,
we're pretty... Because it took us like an hour or something to get to Paru's house walking before. How long did it take?
I think it took like half an hour.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
so we are a hot minute away though.
A little bit, yeah.
So
Paru probably could have made it over there in like 15, given speed.
You don't have to wait for me to here.
We can kind of hand wave a little bit and say that you start making your way towards the farmlands.
I mean, we have sending, but it's only like 60 feet or something. So
yeah, you have to. It's basically like. Is it 60? Yeah, it's 60. It's basically telepathy within a certain amount. And you start trudging towards the farmlands. You see that the people of Chanterelle are putting up quite a fight. And the gnolls that you're seeing are not, they're not running in much of a force anymore. They're kind of just chaotic and spread out. They're not really traveling in swarms anymore. They're just kind of individual, which means they're getting picked off pretty quick. You watch as, like, even people with, like, essentially a baseball bat just swinging at a head, just taking out one of the gnolls. There is a point where you get the sense that maybe they are not being as coordinated right now.
That would explain why he was trying to get a good vantage point.
So you continue moving through. You take a few out, even though Harlan, you're kind of bleeding through the holes in your face. You get a couple. They're, I mean, mechanically these things have 5 hit points apiece. Technically, you're just like just hitting them, and they're going down. And you start meandering through the streets trying to get towards the farmlands, and eventually you break out of the you get to the edge of the city, and it's kind of, if you've ever been in a town with like a football stadium and you're far away from the football stadium and you hear the like kind of thing, you get to that point when you get to the farmlands. You stop hearing the fighting. It didn't seem as dire. It seemed like that maybe the invading force was getting pushed back as you guys left for the farmlands. About halfway across the farms, you see a wolf running back towards you in the dim light. And shifting back, you see Paru, who sees Harlan carrying Villain and just goes, fuck.
Pretty much. We have to go. We have to go right now.
Okay. She kind of glances back. My family's fine. It didn't seem like it made it that far. Is everything settled, or?
There's a lot to tell you. We should probably talk and walk.
Okay.
We get to the train.
And Paru follows, and you fill her in.
Say the least, honestly. Not trying to be like obstinate or unhelpful, but I think I'm still just kind of processing everything.
Yeah. Harlan, you're hauling Villain. At some point, Paru notices the hand before you get to that part of the story. What happened? You have to kind of jump ahead a little bit.
Spare parts. Had to
God.
do some.
Okay, somewhere in your head, the Queen of Folk is like, stick to your day job, Harland. Comedian, not really in the cusp. He's tried it before, I feel like.
Mike night, yeah.
Open mic night. Oh, she definitely had open mic nights. Are you kidding me?
I'm sure. But he also probably got a very skewed idea of his ability in that department because the audience was full of
Oh, that wasn't me. Okay. My brain thought the Christmas music started. I was like, shit. Wrong playlist.
No, sorry, it was the alarm on my phone.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, I'm sure the Harlans and Harlots Harlots and Harlequins, I can't talk, filled up the audience. So he might have gotten a slightly skewed idea of his comedic ability.
Yeah. They were definitely, he had some woo girls in the audience. So you all depart. You head for the train. And go ahead.
On the, I think that Harlan, while carrying Oh, this is sorry. It's just
He's
a picture.
slight.
It's just,
He's a
no, no,
slight person.
it's just the picture that's in my head right now. I think Harlan would try to like sidle up to Oliet. Just hey, sorry I haven't asked how you doing yet. How you doing?
You watch him ask this as there's just like dried blood on his face.
And like Elaine's head is just like right there,
Lolling.
like between.
It's weird.
It is. I will. I think it takes me like a split second too long to kind of register the question, but I am going to stop walking. But I imagine we're close enough that you would immediately feel me stop, like my elbow bumps into yours. And I am going to, without saying anything, I'm going to kiss Harlan and cast Cure Wounds.
Mm.
And then I'll just keep walking.
That's good.
Oh.
I didn't think that.
Roll your hit points. Oh, that, I shit you not, it's an 8 on a 1d8. So 11 hit
Hey.
points.
Gotta love it. All right, so you all start heading towards the train. You, hope everything's okay with the friends you made. They seemed capable. Maybe you'll write them at some point. But for now, you have to leave.
Any chance at all?
That sweater
As
daddy's
we're-
hanging out.
I was just going to say, as we're hustling to the train station, that we see Sweater Daddy anywhere.
Oh, he would have stayed the fuck at that fuck. Oh no, he was out and about. You're right.
Yeah, he left.
He left. Where did he go? That's a good question. You know what? Since I didn't prepare for that question, let's let the dice dictate. Oh, okay. See, listen. If it had rolled a 69, I would have allowed it. It rolled a 68.
Rude.
There was like 2 ways that could have had. Okay. Anyway.
Rude.
No, you do not see Sweater Daddy. But part of you thinks at some point maybe we'll deal with von Hammerford Schmidt again. We'll look Sweater Daddy up.
Are we going to pass by her estate on the way to the train station?
You can.
Okay. I am going to.
I'm not going to make it for that research date.
Yeah, I am going to, as quickly as possible, I'm trying to double check this.
Mhm.
I am going to scratch out Darret's fine and rare tomes.
Okay.
Ebstick Darret. And I am going to, with one of the spare darts that we picked off of Elaine, just stab it to the door.
Okay.
Um,
Hold on a second. Okay. As you stick it on the door, you watch as this little trail of, like, brownish green liquid drips down.
Perfect. That fucking tracks.
Do any of you have nature?
Whoops. Nature?
As a proficiency?
I have half proficiency because I'm a bard.
Here you go. And knowing Villain, he has fucking poison darts.
Yeah. You son of a bitch. I will additionally scratch. We're not going to kill you. Just meet us there. XOXO. All yet.
Great. Perfect. Real good. Real good. Sorry. I'm just imagining Kale's reaction. threat? Am I like come
Am I
here
supposed to
or?
meet you there so you can murder me?
Oh
Or
God. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So you do that.
Okay.
All right. So you you wind around the Oyster District and then head towards the train station. The train station's actually pretty close to the Oyster District. You know, location. And so it does not take much more time to do that. And you head down into the train station. Seems to be running normal. And takes. You see the clock on the wall, counting down a few minutes. You guys do anything while you're waiting for the train to show up?
Check on, make sure they're still doing.
Still breathing.
Yes.
There's still a pulse. Make a give me a perception check, Harlan.
Okay. That's a 12.
12. Okay, so you're just checking. Like I said, we're gonna say it's kind of a mix between medicine and perception. You feel a pulse. You check for breathing, make sure his airway is clear. You check the wound. Still kind of all like stuff shoved and tied to kind of staunch any bleeding. Just he looks very, very tired and very, very small. And you wait for the train. Eventually you hear the coming down the tunnel. You hear the metronome. And eventually the train comes to a stop in the station. There is one or two people, 2 humans, on the train stepping out to come Chanterelle. Sees you all. Just steps out of the train and like offers it. We'll catch the next one. You go.
Did you know that all alcohol is poison?
Yes, I was aware of that.
Oh, all right. It's their motto, so then it's,
I don't have any. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're good. Just gonna step onto the train. I do still have I do still have my high end like dark cherry mud whatever
You're
the
keeping
hell.
that shit. You're not giving that to some random person who thinks you're mugging them. And you step onto the train. Still that sort of repetitive, incessant, even ticking as the train starts moving. Harlan, you put Villain down, presumably.
it's like bench seats or something.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you? Is there any particular way you all are seated? Any configuration? Anybody doing anything with Villain as they're sort of leaning against the window?
Beza has no healing abilities, so she can't do anything there, but she's keeping eyes on Villain.
Okay.
I don't have any. I don't have anything.
That's fine.
I don't have anything to bind them or keep them. So I kind of imagine Harlan like laying them across the benches, and then I assume probably most of us are going to sit directly across from them on the seats facing the other side of the.
Yeah.
Wait, are these like subway
Yeah.
seats where it's like okay, then yeah, like them laid across one way, and I sit on the other side
If
watch.
if you talk about tying him up, Beza hands you a rope.
Oh, then let's do that, please.
Okay. So yeah, you probably at that point want to sit him up.
Yeah.
To tie him. Yeah, you affix him to poles and chair, and as much as you can get out of 50 feet of rope, you tie down.
Do we know how long this train ride might be? Do I have any idea?
We hadn't really decided where you're. I think we decided you were the other direction, so it's gonna be a while. We're gonna like if you guys are at 7 o'clock, you're at like 2 or 3 o'clock.
Okay.
So it's if the island is functioning like a clock, that's what you're looking at.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be a while. Maybe a few hours, maybe a couple hours. I'll have to figure it out. So yeah, you all are sitting in, well, not silence. There's still, and there's points where that's just deafening. It's awful. Just hanging in there, hanging in the silence.
I think if we have a few hours, I am going to. It probably takes like 10 or 15 minutes before I'm settled and like back in my own, like my body basically. But I will pull out my my sewer that I got from the Yeti and start playing a Song of Rest. So if anybody rolls hit dice, they'll get extra HP back.
I had forgotten. I made a mental note and had forgotten to mention the music maker. But Olia, rest assured, something tells you that he was kicking ass.
Yeah.
He had big paper ripping arms, you think. I had totally forgotten, and I was definitely going to put him in there, and I forgot. But yeah, he was going to be badass. And a little time passes. There's a little bit of conversation, but not much. And Oliette, if you're very fixated on playing and not talking, I don't know if anybody attempts to speak to you.
Probably can only play for like 30 to 45 minutes before I'm worn out from that. I cannot play this.
You gotta practice.
That well.
Yeah, you gotta practice.
It's a wind instrument. I can only do it for so long.
True.
And
Your Song of Rest sounds exactly like practicing arpeggios and scales.
Over and no, I'm just kidding. I would never.
So what are we going to do if someone else gets on the train and wonders why we have him tied up like a pig?
I don't see what's preventing us from telling them that he tried to murder us.
They might try to hand them over to the whatever local authorities we might happen to be nearby.
I'll just tell them that's where we're going to turn him in.
I'm gonna make an executive decision. Yeah, why not? And say Paru has like a blanket or something. Just
thank God for Paru.
Just like drapes it over, tries to like tuck it in where the ropes are. To like hide, like basically prisoner burrito, one might call it.
Okay.
Just tucking Verlaine in. After a little bit, you hear a deep breath from Verlaine, just kind of like a grimace. And just sort of very lidded eyes, barely able to keep their eyes open. sees you all. And he looks down at the, well, you're holding the sewer. That's what you're holding. Never mind. And he kind of opens their mouth to say something, but just kind of lets the word go, doesn't say anything. And just kind of leans their head against the glass, just sort of staring near the floor.
Don't know. And I don't know if that's don't know if it's something that you want, but we're gonna figure this out.
Kind of fidgets a little bit, feels the ropes.
You built up. I mean, we've known you for a while, and I can speak personally that you built up no small amount of goodwill, but you also burned through quite a bit of it. So sorry for the ropes for now.
Are you watching them, Oliet?
Mhm.
Villain finds your eyes and still sort of, it doesn't even seem fully conscious, but it's just kind of staring, kind of weak, a little sad. And he looks down at your bag, and you all hear their voice in your head. You shouldn't have. You're not. You should have left me.
I think I'm going to stand up and approach.
Seems
And
like he
just
wakes up a little bit at that.
just kind of standing over them for a long moment, I will brush a little of the hair away from their face.
And kind of his eyes drift closed a little bit, but kind of flinches too.
He said go to sleep, and I'm going to backhand him and attempt to knock him unconscious again.
I mean, yeah. Go ahead and give me an unarmed attack. I mean, you hit. Just do your unarmed damage. You hit. I mean, he's tied.
Still might be 0. Hang on, let me look.
He's tied down.
It's 1 point of bludgeoning damage. There's no bonus.
Like a person with a glass skull in a television show. Yeah, you smack and they sort of hit the glass a little bit and just kind of not fall unconscious, but that gesture and the kind of, I assume the kind of like violence of it, they just sort of stare in, like, sort of off to the side and just exhale really deep and just kind of, they don't say anything else and they just sort of drift off. You're not quite sure if they're sleeping or if they've just dissociated.
The club.
Right? And y'all...
In my seat.
And if nobody says anything about that... Can't hear you, Heather.
Oh,
Wrong button.
It's okay.
Beza has sort of a shocked look on her face and is probably looking at Harlan and Paru like, the fuck just happened?
And sort of hangs in between everybody as the train continues moving. Off to insert chronogram number here. I will look it back up or we'll figure it out. And that's where we'll end our session on our way to Oliette's home. Old home. Question, though, real quick. Oliette, at any point during that hour or two, the first hour or two into the train ride, do you check your book at all? Or do you leave it?
I like get warm or something. Last you sent me.
You get like a, and we can clarify this a little bit. Honestly, we can just say like as you get stronger, your connection to the book gets stronger. You get this little like. Okay, so Oliette would know this feeling, this feeling of wanting to, like you're in the middle of a really good book, and you don't want to put it down. That feeling in the back of your head, you get that. It's very subtle. But you get that sort of feeling.
I probably wouldn't ignore that if it's something I can.
So you flip to the back of the book and you look through some of your messages and you get to the back. And below all that about needing to find the archive, needing to request an audience with the Queens of Fae. And that is in Her Majesty of the Words handwriting. You find just below that in her handwriting, I am so sorry.
I don't put the book for now.
Okay.
I don't think it's not. I don't think Oliette is attempting to be evasive or cold, but I mean, can still feel the bruises around her neck from this gauntlet and is really trying to just stay grounded.
Yeah.
And stay a person. So any emotional output is going to compromise.
You don't get the sense that that apology was asking for a response. It's just more to put it out there. And as the train continues, that's where we'll end. That was meant to be a combat episode, y'all. Fuck. Okay. That is the end of our session. And I don't know why I don't expect feels. I should never not expect feels from you maniacs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is the end of chapter 16.
Beza would not voice it out loud, but she secretly feels slightly less bad about what she had to do since Oliette hit him.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Just like this little tiny bit less bad about the fact that I had to cut his hand off.
So, that is the end of our session this evening. Thank you so much. I know we ran a little bit long tonight. Sometimes it feels like the right emotional beat has to get hit in order to not leave the players feeling, I don't know, narrative blue balls. I don't know. Anyway, and we will be back next week. Same time, same place, hopefully with a better internet situation, because I won't be producing. Paruducing? I don't know. Yeah, don't tell Tessa I said that. Let's all forget that. Damn it, we had good connection at that point. Everyone heard that? Fuck. Anyway.
End stream.
Yeah, right, click. Oh, good. All right, everybody, this was Shenanigoons. We are Shenanigoons, the Book of Faebles, part of the Nerdsmith Network. You can find out more about us at nerdsmith.org. And follow us here on Twitch or on Twitter, also at We Are Nerdsmith, to get pinged when we go live. Tomorrow night, I have Discover RPG. I don't know what I'm going to be doing yet to celebrate Discover RPG, as I have a very big D&D session. Oh, wow, another one. Tomorrow night, and maybe I'll prep for that. Maybe we'll do that. Prep for some combat, or, whatever. Half my players are in the audience, they'll know. Anyway, and we are here, so that is at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. But again, if you follow us here on Twitch or Twitter, you'll get pinged when we go live. We are really, really grateful for our sponsors, Eldritch Foundry, Die Hard Dice, and World Anvil. I believe the important little tidbit about Die Hard Dice, however, is that the Platinum Aquamarine set that Tessa has is going to be raffled off next week on the 23rd. So be sure to, I'm sure you're going to need some shiny click-clack math rocks to make up for whatever feels inevitably happen next week. This definitely didn't end how I was expecting it to end, so I'm going to spend the next week figuring out what the hell I'm going to do. So, hooray. You all are absolutely amazing. Thank you, players. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. And audience, you are also amazing. Thank you so much for sticking around with us tonight. We are absolutely... it is our absolute pleasure to play this game in front of you all. And I can't wait for next week, chapter 17, name yet to be determined, because I don't know what the hell we're doing, and we'll figure it out. It'll probably be called In the Stacks, but we'll see. All right, everybody, please have a good rest of your night. Get some sleep. Have a safe week. Any of y'all in the cold neck of the woods right now, please stay warm. Please be safe. Do what you gotta do, and we hope to see you here next week. All right. Be good. Make good choices. Be smart. And we'll see you here next time. And please do me a favor and be good to each other. All right. Good night, everybody. Goodbye. I'm in control of this. I need my hand. Okay, bye.